Hello everybody, my name is Will and welcome back to Sprocket. Today the brand new Fields scenario has been reintroduced. Reintroduced, doesn't really make sense, but Fields is back in Sprocket and today we're going to be building a little French light tank to take it on. Originally it was going to be very much of a AMXELC kind of replica, but then I wanted to put on a T92 turret basically, and so I did because I can. Sprocket. Creativity. The things that you can do with this game. Amazing. But yes, you might be wondering, hi Will, normally your videos feature the entire building of the tank. Why is the hull already done? And the answer to that is the cat is just the worst thing that ever has existed. My cat was in my room, as she normally is. And I was like, hello, cat, how are you? And she was like, I'm good, I'm gonna stand on your keyboard. And I was like, please don't do that. And so I moved her off my desk onto my lap, from which she departed my lap to go and stand on top of my computer as she regularly does. This is all normal up until this point. However, as per normal, she doesn't actually like being on my computer because it makes a lot of noise, and then she gets off. However, in getting off, she decided that the best place to put her foot was right on the power button for about 5 seconds, and so it just shut my computer hard down. Didn't even go through the Windows shutdown process, just off. And therefore, 2 hours of video footage was corrupted. Completely unusable. It is unrecoverable because I recorded in MP4, which is, I should stop doing that because if you hard exit while you're recording an MP4, it's gone forever. So there you go. Fantastic. Annoyingly, I'm really actually proud of this tank. I think it came out really, really good. So I would have loved to show you the building process. Unfortunately, it can't happen. But if you want to do something a little bit more positive than talk about my cat ruining this, there is a link in the description which will take you to a charity page. We've got a charity drive going on for the Jingle Jam this year. We're just going to keep running it up until the end of the year because why not? And I'll plug it in every single video up until that point because it's a good thing for a bunch of good charities. You can see them all on the website. And on top of that, if you donate like 35 quid, you can get a bunch of games, a bunch of which are really good, a bunch of which I've not played and can't comment on how good they are, but they're probably also really good. But yeah, that's that out of the way. We have technically reached the campaign goal, but any more is any more, you know. It's ultimately it's charity. There's no amount of money that's too much. So there you go. None of it goes through my account, just to clarify. It all goes through Teltify. I don't even see it in my account for a single second. Straight through the other side. So if you are concerned about something like that, I'm not going to steal your money. Don't worry. You probably weren't worrying before I said that. I'm terrible at this. Anyway. Because I knew that I'd lost basically the entire building of the hull and most of the turret, I've run this time-lapse a little bit slower so that you can get a bit of a better idea of kind of how I build my turrets and place the things inside of the tanks. Maybe that's good? Is that something? Possibly? Yeah, I don't know. Ultimately, this is a pretty small tank, so it's a bit of an unusual build. As you can see, we've got a frontal transmission which runs through kind of a open compartment on the left-hand side of the tank. I actually put extra ammo there because there wasn't really anywhere else to put it. This gun is absolutely massive. It's a 105mm gun with 650mm propellant length, and that's going down about a 3-meter barrel, which is pretty insane. It gives this thing, I think it's 230, might be slightly less millimeters of penetration. And if you're using those shells that you can see in the ready rack there, those only have a 2.5 second reload. So this thing really, really pumps out the shells from that ready rack. Once you get down to the hull, granted, it does take about 10 seconds to reload, which is not spectacular, but it's still not awful, to be entirely honest, especially for a tanker this size with shells that big. It's a surprisingly good setup, and this thing is only crewed by 3 people. We got one person on either side of the turret, one person who is the gunner, traverser, you know, that lot. And then the other person who is the loader, because we need to have one. But in real life, it would be an auto-loaded tank, as you can see by the fact that there is kind of it's meant to be the space for a drum magazine, but in, you know, Sprocket terms, it looks nothing like that because, well, we don't have drum-loaded auto-loaders. Think AMX-13 cannon, especially the AMX-13-105. That was probably smaller than this and had the same size gun, because I guess the French just don't know when to quit. Seriously though, I love French tanks. They're really cool. I will not have any slander of French tanks on this channel. You guys know this, and I've stated this for a very, very long time. If you go back to my very early videos, by the way, if you don't want to hear your parents, if you don't want to have your parents hear swearing coming from a video, don't go back to those old videos. There was quite a lot, turns out. Crazy. Given that it just kind of naturally, I stopped one day, just was like, I don't really need to, you know, it doesn't work for the content. Nothing against it. Feel free, you know, go crazy. But yeah, there you go. Anyway, tank files for this will be in the description below. You can go to my Discord, and there is the tank repository in there, where you can download the blueprint for this thing and do whatever you want with it. Do you want to turn it into a normal turreted tank where you get rid of this stupid oscillating thing? Do you want to try and put a 152mm cannon in it? I don't know. Whatever you want to do, you can have a go. Trust me, there's not a lot of space left in this thing. So if you want to put a bigger gun in, you're going to have to do some pretty big changes. But yeah, this thing actually has pretty good elevation and depression angles. I believe it can elevate the gun to 15 degrees and depress to about 10 degrees, which is pretty good for a tank with a gun like this. These guns tend to be a little bit restrictive in that sense because of how low the profile is, and inevitably you're going to have like the back of the turret hitting the engine deck or the front of the gun hitting the front of the tank. You don't really have too much of an issue with this one, despite the low profile, so I'm quite happy with that, actually. But, yep, that's all the building segment that was saved from my cat destroying it all, so enjoy the actual gameplay. And here is the finished product. Apologies for the slightly stunted building segment. That is my cat's fault. She has been launched into the 7th circle of hell for her crimes, which she must now atone for. But anyway, we've built a little light tank, which has a 105mm gun in kind of a oscillating turret. It's not a fully oscillating turret. This is more like a T92 turret. I wanted to have the general vibe of the, ELC AMX hull, which I think you can definitely tell there is inspirations going on here. But I wanted to be able to have this kind of gun arrangement of the T92, as I think this is going to give us a really, really good shot now that Fields is back. Our armor is okay from the front. It's not awful, but it's probably not going to be good enough to really rely on. So we will be using the mobility of this thing for the most part, and I believe there is a way that you can just push through the enemy lines and reach a certain destination to win the objective. You don't have to kill everything. Obviously, it'll be nice to kill everything, but I can't guarantee that we'll be able to do that. But yeah, I think it looks really good, actually. It's just a shame that you couldn't see the building process. Yeah, but don't worry, the cat is burning in hell for the actions that she has taken this day. Oh, this is why you should never get a cat. Let me just clarify. Burning in hell for her is I've locked her out of the room, which is literally the worst thing in her existence. She hates that. She really hates that I am talking and she can't be here with me, which would be really nice if she hadn't just corrupted 2 hours of my footage. Let's put this thing up against some enemies and see how we do, and hopefully I can stop being mad at the cat. Now that we have two scenarios, and also that we had a shorter building segment, we may as well do both. I didn't really expect to be doing tunes today, but we'll start here because this should be a cakewalk. I don't think they're going to have a chance at penetrating my armor, and we shouldn't struggle at penetrating theirs. We have something along the lines of 220mm of penetration. What we actually kind of need to be worried about is over-penetrations, but as you can see, it should be enough to kill them even when we go clean through. It's a 105mm gun fighting things that were designed to deal with 20mm, or maybe even up to a 37mm, you know? And yeah, this is pretty much just beating fish in a barrel at this point in time. It wasn't entirely unpredictable. We've run out of turret ammo here, is why the reload has suddenly got a lot slower. But yeah, that was somewhat predictable. You know what? I should probably actually show you the internals of this thing, given that we just ran into one of the problems with it. Hang on. Okay, so here we are. This is the interior, and as you can see, we've only got 6 shells here in this ready rack. So these ones will reload really, really quickly. These only take, you know, 2 point something seconds to reload. 2.5, there you go. And that is the same for all of these. But these ones in the hull down here, which for some reason aren't working, there we go, take 9.2 seconds, because this is kind of your spare ammo if you run out of the auto-loading ammo. Yeah, I imagine we're definitely going to have to tap into this when we go to fields. And there's not a huge amount of ammo overall. We have 15 there and then 6 in the back of the turret. So that's 21 rounds overall. Not amazing. And that could come back to bite us. Definitely. We need to make sure every shot we fire counts. Anyway, fields. And here we are on the new fields. We have so many allies. I'm really hoping they can use their guns properly. But what is new about this map is while there are still heavies and while there are still lights, they now spawn at the same time. And they spawn up on that hill. Now the heavy tanks are coded to basically just sit there and snipe us. So we need to get our range down quick, and we need to hope that this gun is good enough to go through the front of them, which at the moment it might be, but we're not sure. That looks pretty promising for him stopping firing. That was low. We've lost all of the important crew members. That's not good. Okay, I don't know how I actually order these guys to attack, but they need to do something. I can't remember the controls. We're gonna have to deal with this heavy tank on the hill sooner rather than later, though. That was a pretty good shot, actually. Let's go for there. That bounced off, quite obviously. Too low. That might have done him. That might have done him. Now, these guys are following me. There's 2 heavy tanks there, which we've dealt with. There are a series of light tanks somewhere that are thus unaccounted for, and I can see something on the right, so I'll try and position ourselves just on this hill, and hopefully these guys aren't too much of a threat. Yep, these are our light tanks. There are a couple of them equipped with proper anti-tank guns in this version of Fields, though, whereas before they all had little tiny, like, basically anti-infantry guns. These guys do have a couple of high-velocity cannons with them. However, we don't seem to be struggling to take them out, because after all, they are light tanks, and we have a plenty firepower. The rest of them are up on that hill. Gotta just be a little bit careful of where we position ourselves, because anything that we're not, you know, getting the initiative on is really, really dangerous. We only have about 30 millimeters of side armor and less than that on the side, the rear, which is only 20 millimeters. So we could absolutely get decimated without warning. But so far, so good. That guy is taking some fire. My allies seem to have... Oh, they didn't quite beat him. Okay. Right, who's even left? There's a heavy tank up on the hill. We've just determined. And can we work out which one that was? I don't know if there's anything behind us anymore. You very much could be it. Yep, you're the one. Did that get him? That looked like it got him. And over this hill... Is this guy still alive? Yes, he is. Raise the gun. Raise the gun. That was scary. Clean through the front. I think he should be dead. And one of the heavy tanks is up on our right. I don't know what those guys are doing, but it's not very productive. Hello. Let's just... Ooh. Got an ally jumping through my screen there. Oh, I've missed playing Fields, man. This is such a great scenario. Hello, you look pretty dead already. However, is your friend dead? You? I mean, you look at, you've got a big shell hole in the front there. What's left, I wonder? Is it a light tank? I don't know. I don't know at all. I guess, do we just push up and try and win this by reaching the zone? Oh, there's a heavy tank right there. Right, literally right there. Can he shoot me? I don't think he can, otherwise he probably already would have. You, my sir. Okay, yeah, you definitely look out of action. Let's try and get to the side of him and just blow up his ammo rack. And then there's absolutely no doubt that this guy's done for. He can rotate on the spot pretty darn quick, though. Maybe too quick for us. Maybe. Okay, fair enough. Well, try this for size. Yep, now you're not rotating, are you? Okay, is there a way out of this place? Because I feel like we've pretty much dealt with all the enemies, plus or minus any crew members who can't fire the guns. Where is the exit? I don't know. Just hoping I don't run into the map boundary at 40 miles an hour. That will not go well. Aha! That very much looks like an exit zone. So if I'm not mistaken, I can just charge on through. I think I see a heavy tank moving back there, actually. You. Are you alive? He was! Wow. Okay. Right. Fair enough. That's gone pretty well. I think what it's about time to do is to put this thing up against some of my own designs in a custom battle and see how it does. Okay, so this custom battle, we're going to have 6 of my light tank, which you can see is way under budget. The enemy team has 3 of the heavy tanks we built in the last episode and 2 26Bs. That puts them barely underneath the budget, so we do actually have a bit of an uphill battle here. And I think the heavy tank we built last video is pretty strong, so that is definitely going to be a threat to these things. I can't imagine we're going to go through the front anywhere, so we're going to need to flank them. That could be difficult, given how mobile the turret on that thing is, but we should have a chance, because ultimately, yeah, this thing's good. This thing is pretty good. Oh, I've just nearly killed myself jumping off a cliff. I think we're good. Probably okay. There's 5 enemies, sorry, somewhere out here. And I have no idea where they are. It feels weird spawning all the way back there now. I've been practicing a couple times on fields just so that I know how this level is laid out. And it's weird spawning in the old spot because the custom battles still do. Okay, I see enemies. We're gonna dip into this little hole here. And I think it's probably gonna be best to wait for them for the most part. They are in pretty open territory, and poking up is definitely a death sentence. Oh, there are 3 of them giving me their flat sides, though, and we are such a fast-firing tank. If I just pop one in there, did that get him? No, I don't think it did. Oh, I built that tank too good. It's too scary. They've stopped pushing up on that hill there, which is really, really bad news for me. I don't see a line where I can advance up to them without running directly into their field of fire. I can see 2 of them are firing at my teammates. One of them still very much aimed at me. Oh, what is that guy doing? He's definitely going to get himself killed. But, oh, he's taken out one of them with him. At the very least, can we assist at all? Back of the turret, maybe? That's gone well. He's bounced. I've lost my loader, though. I've lost my loader. Right, you guys, what are you doing? Stop that immediately. Get in the combat, lovebirds. Goodness me. Oh, we're so far away from the combat now. We're having to snipe, which is not what I wanted to do in a million years. We can probably take out that 26, though. The armor on that thing isn't great, so we should penetrate it basically anywhere, and it looks like we have. That's a much, much tougher target. I don't know. Can we go through the lower plate, maybe? Especially at this angle he's giving us. No, it doesn't look like it. Try again. No luck. Right, he's definitely going to be a threat. I think we have no choice, though, other than to just grit our teeth and charge towards him as fast as our little tank can take us, which is pretty quick, to be fair. It goes about 45 miles an hour, I think, at top speed, which on rough terrain we're not going to reach, but as you can see, 40 is pretty easy, and the crew inside are probably having a horrible time. Okay, which of these guys is the one that's still alive? I think it's this one. And clean through the back of the turret. That should be an ammo detonation. One more tank, a 26B, yet to be accounted for. These three are definitely dead. That's an ally over there. Ally there. Where is this last 26B? I found him. He's stuck in a hole. I think this might be, by the way, the most mobile tank that I've built. Maybe with the exception of our armored car in this update, but it is seriously quick. And has that taken out the gunner? Looks like it has. Let's just put him out of his misery. There we go. Okay, I mean, this thing is seriously good. The armor is much better than I thought it would be, while still fitting everything inside in a relatively small package. So I'm quite happy with how this thing has turned out, but let me know what you think about it in the comment section below, because that is all for today. If you like this one, please leave a like, comment, and or subscribe, and once again, apologies for the somewhat stunted runtime of the time-lapse segment. Yep, that just happens sometimes. Hopefully we made up for it with the new field scenario being reintroduced, but that's all for today. Goodbye. And as always, a huge thank you to my YouTube super supporters: Corvoid, Prince Casper 33, Flimsy Steve, Proto Series 1000, Eldoge YT 3744, Marlon Gwecken, Cruiser 25, Cody Fox, Peter Holmes, Peter Seaford, Camjam 135, Stug 3, and Terra. Thank you so much for your support, and a huge thank you to all my regular level supporters as well.